Bye.
What, you said that I should put in 125 and you put in 125 to make it 250?
No, I was saying we find 4 people total and put 250 each to make it $1 billion.
Or
is that a bit too much?
It's too much. Even 100 million is a lot. We all know it's going to be worth a lot in the future.
All right.
100 million is close to $600, right?
Yeah, that's a lot of money.
So people want to give away money to support the revolution.
Yeah, you get
200 million already. Like, seriously.
You got at least 17 billion that we know of. So, come on. I know. You're flying to India first class, you're using free monkeys to get your internet.
Bro, I didn't become a guardian. I didn't become a guardian by flying first class and giving away billions of calls, okay? Okay.
And also tipping the delivery food driver.
Yo, I cut coupons, bro. I cut coupons and I go to McDonald's.
I got crypto.
Get out of town. You want to do the A3
Next thing he's gonna say is that him doing this marathon is him really just going to work to not have to pay for gas.
My wife is like, why do you run so much? No one pays you to run.
Internet John is running away from his problems.
Yo, but do you think that marketing is effective, bro, when you yell at people, buy Cult Dow on Uniswap?
That's not marketing. That's good advertising. That's equivalent to cutting out a coupon.
Do you think it works when you yell at people to buy Bev all the time?
It did work. It did work. Don't get me going.
All right. Here is a Medium article from April the 9th. Let's go ahead and mute this Twitter space and read this article.
I got the screenshots to prove it.
Too bad it didn't work last night.
I think you can listen to more things than one. So it's time I break down the true power of Cult Dow on a tokenomics level. Here is how Cult flips Bitcoin. Flip Bitcoin? Impossible for a token to do. Or is it? I often get frustrated with the true power of Cult Dow and the Cult Manifesto's tokenomics passing unnoticed. The presumption we are a meme coin. The unwillingness of people to do a few minutes of research and read the Cult Manifesto. The competitiveness and thrill seekers of the crypto markets, speculators, make the need for more up a key driver of token performance and thus volume. This is why Cult Dow is not a charity and is also hyper-deflationary. Speculation may bring people in, but those who care for our revolution will stay and join the many. It's time for me to explain to you how and why everything is the way it is, and what is already happening and growing within the protocol without your knowledge. So now, when plebs say, come find the next cult, you can say, there is no next cult. The difficult part of Cult Dow was always gaining the traction and volume to oil the machine. Now that we have it, and we are all talking about Cult, if we continue our current path, Cult will flip Bitcoin. Here is how, and here is the data to prove it. Of course, data can change, and there are variables, but this is the trajectory we face if we maintain the past 2 weeks' worth of volume, burns, and proposals funded. Average burns take from the past 2 weeks here. I have not counted the first proposal as this was passed at 2 million market cap and so is not representative.
That is not a bad idea.
If you view the article, you can see that even with 130 ETH worth of Cult sent, let's see if we can find this article.
To see how it goes, because I think having it done through that account will make the biggest impact. Hell, I might put my
Yeah.
I know a guy that knows a guy.
Because that account has like 70,000 followers and it's got all the proper links and stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so we're gonna start.
So what's the entry?
5 million called to either burn or treasury. But if you want to have 2 entries, then you do 5 million each.
I don't like the treasury.
And don't forget, Jeremy, don't forget, if you sell them to buy Colt, you get 2 spots.
No, you get wrecked is what you get.
No. If you sell VEMP to buy Cult, you're actually increasing your position to get more exposure to VEMP indirectly anyway.
Don't spin it so ridiculously, bro.
I'm not.
Still, what about also?
But beyond VEMP, you're getting now exposure to
All right,
100
boom.
Listen,
555.
this is why I don't like the treasury thing. Because from the outside looking in, it looks kind of weird. Like, oh, why they doing this? Oh, they're just trying to fill their treasury. Da-da-da-da-da. So to avoid that, I think we should just burn.
Yeah, I see your point. That makes sense. Yeah, you're right. I mean, it can be looked at that way.
All right, we are looking for the April 9th article, and it only had the MERP.
10. All of it goes to burn.
Oh, MERP.
And that way you have 2 entries.
I mean, my wallet is also like a burn wallet because I never sell cold, so you could just always just send me the cold and then we good.
Are you guys watching this FTX thing? It's getting pretty serious.
Yeah, bro.
It's big.
Sam Bankman is coming out and tweeting like defending it, saying you guys better not do a run on my bank.
Yo, did you see that they made a SBF token already? SBF Inu? Of course.
Hilarious.
That shit kind of ran too, bro. That shit did like a 3x already so far.
What is it at right now?
I don't know. Let me check.
Just check your wallet. It'll tell you right away.
It's at 12K right now.
Still? Damn. Market cap?
Yeah.
See? That's like
Good entry, bro. It was great entry. Because when it was called at 15K. Then when I looked at it again, it was 47K. So I was like, oh, wow, it's doing pretty good. Now it's 12K, so you can get right back in all over again if you wanted to.
I don't know. I might throw it in there.
Why not? It's fucking 12K, bro. Throw a fucking, what do you put, 0.01, some shit like that, you'd be alright.
The tax on that? I want 40% supply.
I think the tax is like 6%.
Hell no.
Wow.
What's the utility?
The utility?
The utility is getting fucking wrecked. That's about it.
Yeah, you're gonna see when that
That's right up my alley.
you're gonna say.
Yo, for that giveaway, does Cult have a marketing wallet too?
It does. It does. It is.
That could be another option.
The NFTs,
The marketing wallet is also known as the burn wallet.
Yeah, the burn wallet is the best option. Why would we want to do that, Goldfish?
I still don't understand how the burn really like works in this instance. Like I know what burning of tokens does, but I don't know if it would make that much of a difference in this case.
No. This is not to just send 5 million to the burn wallet and you enter. You have to buy 5 million from Uniswap and then send to the burn wallet.
Okay, in that space, I like that.
Yes, correct.
Oh, I have to buy a new 5 million?
Correct.
Yeah, it only helps when you get it from the
Uniswap, yeah, you can't be getting it from a KuCoin and shit. It has to be done from Uniswap, and then you have to send it to the burn wallet. That's why you gotta have to transactions you don't have to show for it.
I love that idea. How much is it? How much is 5 billion?
$30.
That's a lot more.
$30.
Yeah, $30. I think between 30 and 35.
Yeah, raffle tickets are usually $20, $50.
Exactly. So you can do 2 entries, and now you can spend $30 or roughly $60, and you have 2 entries.
And now, so that's 1 billion to like 10 people, 1 billion to one person.
No. We are shifting it to 250 million cult, and
It's time I break down the true power of Cult DAO on a tokenomics level. Here is how Cult flips Bitcoin. Flip Bitcoin. Impossible for...
No, we're good on that. All right. I can't find the place to get the article. But why wouldn't they all show up? All right. Let's just read it. Howdy, somebody out there. Welcome to the show. Just going through and trying to figure out what in the world I'm doing. So appreciate you coming in. If there's anything you'd like to talk about, then post a comment up and we'll talk about it. I was just reading that Medium article that was posted in Spaces a while ago. And I'm not sure that I've read this one. So it's time to break down the true power of Cult DAO on a tokenomics level. Here is how Cult flips Bitcoin. Flip Bitcoin? Impossible for a token to do. Or is it? I often get frustrated with the true power of Cult DAO and the Cult Manifesto's tokenomics passing unnoticed. The presumption we are a meme coin, the unwillingness of people to do a few minutes of research and read the Cult Manifesto. The competitiveness and thrill seekers of the crypto market's speculators make the need for more up a key driver of token preference and thus volume. This is why Cult DAO is not a charity and is also hyper-deflationary. Speculation may bring many people in, but those who care for our revolution will stay and join the many. It's time for me to explain to you how and why everything is the way it is, and why it is already happening and growing within the protocol without your knowledge. So now, when plebs say, "Come find the next cult," you can say, "There is no next cult." The difficult part of Cult DAO was always gaining the traction and volume to oil the machine. And now that we have it, we are all talking about Cult, and if we continue our current path, Cult will flip Bitcoin. Here is how, and here is the data to prove it. Our course data can change, and there are variables, but this is the trajectory we face if we maintain the past 2 weeks' worth of volume, burns, and proposals funded. Average burns taken from the past 2 weeks here. I have not counted the first proposal as this was passed at 2 million market cap and so is not representative. Without this graph, it becomes somewhat irrelevant. You can see that even with 130 ETH worth of Cult sent out over the past 2 weeks and another 25 ETH worth of Cult burned, this still hasn't been enough to offset the increase in Cult balance in the treasury due to our huge volumes from the many talking about Cult. So where do the additional tokens come from? 1.9 trillion tokens are staked, 1.567 trillion are burned, so the tokens are being taken from the remaining 3.2 trillion in the market or vesting. So volume is causing tokens to move from general circulation and into the treasury. Here's the effect of this below. You can see those tokens not burned or collected into the treasury are moved from circulation to the treasury. The reduction in percentage is taking into account the future movements. This is how Cult DAO flips Bitcoin. It is likely to happen far before year 5 as our trajectory is looking like much more volume to come. The days of impossibility are over. This is a revolution of spirit, of revolt, and of DeFi. It's time. Viva la revolution. All right. So,
into this as well. If that could either be help pump the market back up, or it could just pour more fuel onto this fire. It's kind of an unknown as far as how that's going to play out on Tuesday.
I wonder what the futures are looking like for the stock market, because this usually
They're bleeding right now. Everything is down like 1%. I'm sorry. 0.9%, 0.8%. So yeah, when I look at that, it's close to 1%.
You're still way off. I see 0.2%.
Well, the last time I checked, which was a while ago.
Yeah, it's recovered.
You see what I'm talking about, though, right?
So we're going to go back down to the very first article from...
A reaction, but sometimes a reaction like this is just a trailer, right? So you might see a fake pump happen, only to see a real dump that happens afterwards. Who knows? Buy more coal.
In what market?
I was looking at the futures, stock market, and I haven't looked at the bond market, but stock market I was looking at, I can just check and see.
All right, so round zero was live.
This FTX is related?
1 Ethereum per wallet.
Connected now. So
round one will start on January 31st, 2022.
ETFs in the crypto space. It's all connected. About a year ago and prior to that, it was always the case where if the stock markets were red, crypto was in the green, and vice versa. That's when the money was going back and forth a lot, and now that it's kind of getting more, coming together as a overall market. Then it's following all markets together.
And you also got to take into account that too that FTX is now listed on the stock exchange, and that Binance US is trying to be. So those are both, some bigger factors and things to look at as well.
All right. Howdy, welcome to the room. I'm just here going through some Medium articles, listening to the Twitter Spaces. If you want to talk about anything, write me a little note.
Yeah, but Dr. XO, Bitcoin is correlated to the NASDAQ.
All right, so here we are, February 1st. Creation is
like
complete.
It's a small percentage, but still, if them shits fucking take a hit, Bitcoin will take a dip. But I don't know. There's a lot of eyes on Bitcoin, bro. I see it getting bought up every time. Fucking, it's a nice dip.
Oh, I should be good then.
Let's see what Bitcoin. Where's Bitcoin at right now? Let's go look.
21. Well, 20,900. So.
They're still up there.
No, it's hanging in there. They all had a dip for sure, but it's getting bought up right at the 20,700 mark. So
yeah, I see that. 20,817 was the bottom. It pumped back up to 2165. Now it's down. Let's see. I hate this fucking thing. So yeah, now it's 20,891, but it's still up there. But this is what I'm saying. Today's Sunday. A lot of people, they're just not paying no mind and shit like that.
Yeah, and it's kind of weird, the lack of news as far as any of the Bitcoin, any of the YouTube channels and news stuff that I watch. Not a whole lot being said about the situation.
Tomorrow, bro.
But that, in my mind,
I put some some stuff on the Jumbotron, but that the Moon guy, Carl the Moon dude, he made a really good thread about Alameda. I'm trying to find that.
I'll look and see what he's posted. There's something I'll be watching sometimes.
Yeah, I just went to everything he posted. I can't find it, but it's in that CZ tweet. Let me try to find it real quick.
I find this fascinating that these two guys are actually going at each other on this.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Right. It's almost like Elon's like, yeah, bring me all the money. It's fucking like him putting all the strings in the back, thinking, I need some more exposure to Twitter. You guys fight on Twitter, not on CNN.
Well, Binance also bought in with Elon with
right.
500 mil on the buy of Twitter.
Oh, is that right?
Yep.
Yeah.
They want
Governments of the industrial world, you weary giants of flesh and steel, I come from cyberspace, the new home of mind. On behalf of the future, I ask you of the past to leave us alone. You are not welcome among us. You have no sovereignty where we gather. We have no elected government, nor are we likely to have one, so I address you with no greater authority than that with which liberty itself always speaks. I declare the global social space we are building to be naturally independent of the tyrannies you seek to impose on us. You have no moral right to rule us, nor do you possess any methods of enforcement we have true reason to fear. Governments derive their powers from the consent of the governed. You have neither solicited nor received ours. We did not invite you. You do not know us, nor do you know our world. Cyberspace does not lie within your borders. Do not think that you can build it as though it were a public construction project. You cannot. It is an act of nature, and it grows itself through our collective actions. You have not engaged in our great and gathering conversation, nor did you create the wealth of our marketplaces. You do not know our culture, our ethics, or the unwritten codes that already provide our society more order than can be obtained by any of your impositions. You claim there are problems among us that you need to solve. You use this claim as an excuse to invade our precincts. Many of those problems don't exist. Where there are real conflicts, where there are real wrongs, we will identify them and address them by our means. We are forming our own social contract. This governance will arise according to the conditions of our world, not yours. Our world is different. Cyberspace consists of transactions, relationships, and thought itself. Arrayed like a standing wave in the web of our communication, ours is a world that is both everywhere and nowhere, but is not where bodies live. We are creating a world that all may enter without privilege or prejudice, according by race, economic power, military force, or station of birth. We are creating a world where anyone, anywhere may express his or her beliefs, no matter how singular, without fear of being coerced into silence or conformity. Your legal concepts of property, expression, identity, movement, and context do not apply to us. They are all based on matter, and there is no matter here. Our identities have no bodies, so unlike you, we cannot obtain order by physical coercion. We believe that from ethics, enlightened self-interest, and the Commonwealth, our governance will emerge. Our identities may be distributed across many of your jurisdictions. The only law that our constituent cultures would generally recognize is the Golden Rule. We hope we will be able to build our particular solutions on that basis, but we cannot accept the solutions you are attempting to impose. In the United States, you have today created a law, the Telecommunications Reform Act, which repudiates your own constitution and insults the dreams of Jefferson, Washington, Mill, Madison, Decaville, and Brandeis. These dreams must now be born anew in us. You are terrified of your own children, since they are natives in a world where you will always be immigrants. Because you fear them, you entrust your bureaucracies with the parental responsibilities you are too cowardly to confront yourselves. In our world, all the sentiments and expressions of humanity, from the debasing to the angelic, are parts of a seamless whole, the global conversation of bits. We cannot separate the air that chokes from the air upon which wings beat. In China, Germany, France, Russia, Singapore, Italy, and the United States, you are trying to ward off the virus of liberty by erecting guard posts at the frontiers of cyberspace. These may keep out the contagion for a small time, but they will not work in a world that will soon be blanketed in bit-bearing media. Your increasingly obsolete information industries would perpetuate themselves by proposing laws, in America and elsewhere, that claim to own speech itself throughout the world. These laws would declare ideas to be another industrial product, no more noble than pig iron. In our world, whatever the human mind may create can be reproduced and distributed infinitely at no cost. The global conveyance of thought no longer requires your factories to accomplish. These increasingly hostile and colonial measures place us in the same position as those previous lovers of freedom and self-determination who had to reject authorities of distant, uninformed powers. We must declare our virtual selves immune to your sovereignty, even as we continue to consent to your rule over our bodies. We will spread ourselves across the planet so that no one can arrest our thoughts. We will create a civilization of the mind in cyberspace. May it be more humane and fair than the world your governments have made before.
I'm gonna go check my tickets. I haven't even checked my tickets. Let me see what we got. Let's go to FanDuel.
So there's that.
And this morning I said, nah, I'm not gonna bet. And I usually bet a bunch of crazy underdog tickets.
You would have been a millionaire.
Yeah, right?
For sure.
And I put in these crazy lottery fucking these underdog
Bad
tickets.
odds, man. Go with the worst odds, and then you make bank.
Well, with which one was it? These guys was like they were down. What was it? It was like plus 1,700 or something. I was like, damn, that's a good bet.
All right. I'm going to go ahead and turn down these spaces because sorry for the loud sounds. I'm going to work around that. Watch this little video, figure out how to do better. Tomorrow will be better. The day after that will be better. After that, even more better. And if you don't know what more better is, then you should just stick around and see. If you're watching this, then that means Cult DAO has made itself into something. And we do believe this is a thing, a possibility, and a probability, and an inevitability. So I want to create something that is able to last beyond our lifetimes. I want to create something that will be here for future generations to look back on and think like, and try to figure out when they try to understand what we were thinking. So like as that thing we just read, I look to the Declaration of Independence quite often for guidance as far as how to think whenever there's conflicts, as far as our in respects to our loyalty, say to our government, as our elders have taught us, and that we've been taught to respect them as well, and they were taught to respect their elders, and they did, and they may have been more noble, and before them their elders may have possibly been more noble as well, yet maybe slightly different ideas, but as far as the value system which we hold of family and loyalty and respect, those things I think have been infringed upon. And this is not a light and transient cause. This is our basic right to know just life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. This life is being made harder to find true happiness for many, and that is what we're here to talk about. Is the perspective of the many. This does not apply. This channel will not appeal to certain individuals. This will not appeal to many individuals, many groups. But you know what? That's not the point of it. The point of this is for people to be able to see whenever like none of us exist anymore. Okay, so what I've been trying to do is create some sort of formulas or blueprint in order to have something that has some ability to be decentralized in a way that only requires the contributions of the many and not necessarily the whereas the effort can be done in the beginning to create a framework in which that we hope this will work beyond our passings. But if there is not, if there ain't notes, then what is there? And so this is my attempt to leave notes, and as to be, I guess, one of the fathers of cult. I sit here and I look at Iris, and I think about what sort of legacies that we can leave for the children of our children, and what we can do in order to make sure that those things happen. And so even if this particular project turns out to be a failure, then the things that we learn here can teach us something in the future. And I hope to be able to see these things and learn from them. And so we have, so I'm thinking that each cycle, hey, there's Huddle Stonks coming in. Let's get him up here before I continue on talking about my stuff. Huddle Stonks. I see you down there. Let me know when you're ready to come in, or just jump right in.
One thing.
How's it going? Can you hear me?
Correct. He's also the CEO and founder of VM.
No.
Can you hear me?
I can't hear you.
Alrighty, cool.
Yep. Pretty good. How's the sound on your end?
Yeah, sounds good.
Okay. Yeah, I guess I could just tell that you're wearing a mask.
Yeah, okay. I'll put it closer to the mouthpiece. I have to change the mask a little bit.
Yeah. Got some fresh masks. We have some arts and crafts time pretty soon. Got the little knife action going on here. Okay. Masks everywhere. So I was listening to a Twitter space. Had been, there was a Medium article, so I'd been kind of going through a couple Medium articles. Read like the Declaration of Cyberspace Independence, and I was just kind of talking about how we're trying to create a blueprint for something that can be passed on beyond our lifetimes, and had some new ideas today that, as far as how to, because a lot of the point of this channel is to not only leave breadcrumbs for well beyond our lifetimes, but in the now, it's to educate new people about cult. And if we're thinking about just doing this for 2 years and then setting it free, then to have some sort of repeatable process, you have like a menu or something, and that I think the maybe like the best way to do that would be to like base it off the moon cycles. And so every 28 days comes like the regurgitation of whatever information. So like right now we're going through all the Medium articles. But let's say, like, for new moon is, read the manifesto. And then, and so that's like the newness. And then the full moon kind of maybe be like the economic manifesto. So we're going from the social end to the political end, and then have the content kind of be allocated into whatever day of that cycle would be most appropriate, on a monthly basis, and have it follow that sort of form. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I think that's a good idea. The social aspect is going to be the most important early on for a few reasons. We're in a bear market, so the economic aspect isn't as important right now. I mean, I know my strategy personally is just to buy and hold Colt Dow. It hasn't pumped nearly to what it will pump to, so economic is a little bit less important, and also because social is just the building blocks of any good project or any good ethos comes with the social aspect comes first, and the money aspect comes second.
Sure. And so what comes first, the full moon or the new moon?
The new moon. Well, the new moon? Depends. I mean, it depends on when you start looking at it. I wasn't around for the first moon.
Yeah. And so, but yeah, so like one end being, like then, so between those days of the new moon and the full moon, so as we bridge between social and economic, making it a program that if someone came in to Colt Dow and they started watching Colt News Network, that within 28 days, they could have a fairly well-rounded group of information, and we just continue to regurgitate that every 28 days, and we can improve in with that information. We can improve the information that's contained there, and and then that, of course, the Rainbow Report comes off of that each time. But as far as having the daily program, having it be able to follow that thing and provide all that education, and then we pull what we want from it for the news stories.
Yeah, it sounds like a good plan.
Yeah, at least something to start with, because the plan was to not have a plan, but now that time is over, so it's time to do potential firm planning and get to making movement. They've been talking in the spaces about different ways to do giveaways. There's not a whole lot of consensus on how to do those, or what size to do them. They're talking about like qualifications for raffles. People will wait to game them. But the point is, we want people to buy Colt. And so, whatever, and so that becomes more of a raffle. But then, they're talking about giving away like 1 billion Colt or 2 billion Colt. And that's just really not, like to one individual is really cool. But if we distributed that amongst, many individuals, and have some sort of incentive in order to participate in that raffle, whether it be purchasing or participating in something else, I think it's onboarding 101, really.
Yeah. Ultimately, we want to find the vast holders, and it looks like a lot of the holders are going to be in India, even more so than already are in India. I know that Colt is pretty big in India, but it seems like it's only getting bigger with the birth of the blockchain and the fact that India kind of missed the boat on some of the main crypto projects, so they're eager to buy some of these new tokens.
Yeah, and Polygon is based there, and they're really they've really in the bear market, they've really been pushing, signing a lot of different people. I plan on going over some news stories of those once we get the Rainbow Report, starting publishing it. Murphy's really kind of taken over, and so I've kind of surrendered today to fixing plumbing issues, and just kind of keeping mind and body in good spirit with all of the changes going on, and participating in the yoga classes. Really kind of staying in with the vibe. I think everybody's we're very connected, and so it's I don't have to explain to anyone, you or anyone else. Someone saying like the last couple of days have been just just not necessarily bad,
A
but
hectic
just
couple of days, yeah.
yeah, just a
hectic
lot.
couple of days.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And so rather than beating myself up about not having like the fully polished thing, having someone step away from the project the night before we launch, it made it a little difficult. And then internet going out all day long. That was of all things.
At the most convenient time possible. That's right.
Like absolutely perfect. But so that's just what it's going to be. It's how it's going to be. I didn't plan on it being that shitty, but here we are. But I got the screens going on now. Got the lighting okay. Definitely have some things to work on, but changed everything up quite a bit today and feel more and more comfortable. So that that'll lend itself to not having to do that any other days, and and so just kind of settling in here, feeling like this is my liberated gel cell.
Right.
I can go to yoga and there's in the refrigerator whenever I need to, but once I think we get started, then there will be there'll be much more incentive to sit here, and once we have more time to prepare, then. But I just wanted to show up today, at least on stream. We'll sit here for an hour. I think if we do an hour a day, then by the time we get to it's just things will just happen.
Yeah, absolutely. I think an hour a day is a good plan, and I'm really happy we're going to work on these masks. An hour a day with the mask doesn't sound like fun, but it's not so bad. Yeah, no. I think that people will show interest in certain things and show disinterest in other things, and that's gonna be a big part of what drives that hour of conversation a day, and then of course. With the crypto community, there's always drama. So, depending on what the current drama is, that could take an hour just to break down and give opinions on the drama.
Yeah. Yeah. I want to, hopefully do, quite a few more hours a day of at least the live stream of actual, like good content. Not necessarily so many much. But live streaming, I can go on binges with that. And once I'm stopped moving around, I figure tomorrow will be semi whatever. But by the middle of the week, things should start to calm a slight amount, and just one day at a time. So I was reading this article. It's talking about how Colt is supposed to flip Bitcoin, but I could not get the charts up on the screen a while ago, and I wanted to take a look at those. All right, so there's token. So this is Colt sitting at 651. Okay, that is just the Colt wallet with. All right, so burned is. Oh, it's not showing on the screen. My bad. All right. Well, that first link is just to the burn wallet. Yeah. Well, this was averaged on the first 2 weeks, repeating all of those particular patterns, and that has not happened nor a reality. I don't necessarily think that that's a great article, because it says the parameters in here. There's 130 ETH worth of Colt sent over the past 2 weeks, and another 25 ETH worth of Colt burned. That hasn't continued to happen. It's happened 10 times in 20 weeks. Well, let's do the math. When is that? 20 weeks is 5 months. and it's November rather. So October, September.
What's the title of that article so I can just pull it up on my computer?
It's time to break down the true power of Cult DAO on a tokenomics level. So it's wearecultdao.medium.com.
All right.
Howdy. See a couple of viewers out there. Feel free to pop in the chat, say hi. We're just kind of just doing some brainstorming, some reading some articles and looking through things. We were going over the Medium articles right now and looking at this, the projection of what of this of flipping Bitcoin within 5 years. All right. Yeah, but I think definitely reading all of the different documents and having those available, because some people don't like to really read; they just like to hear things. And
right,
this little computer voice they have reading it. It's cool, but I don't know. I think that reading it out loud is fun. Reading is fundamental. Oh, but it's something to talk about, and the rule is talk about cult, not read about cult. So. So why do I have zero claimable cult? Go ahead.
Yeah, well, because the tokenomics of cult are really important. It actually reminds me of Hex early on, where people were like, it's just a scam, it doesn't make any sense. And without the tokenomics, Hex is like a worthless project. The whole point is that there's an elaborate scheme to give the coin worth. It's not just worth things because people decided that's obviously a market driving factor, but the other reason is because the token is designed to be a token that holds value. And this is kind of the same thing, just with the tokenomics and then also the investment side of cult. So there's kind of two sides of it, that it has the ability to be worth a lot of money because you can invest in a lot of projects. It's kind of like an ETF for shitcoins, is what an Ethereum maximist I was talking to he referred to it as. And I couldn't really say he was wrong. You know what I mean? Obviously,
definitely not.
But if you're somebody that's he's got a big bag and he's waiting for the bull market to flip, and he's going to buy a bunch of cult because it has it's basically he can take 50 investments that he would never take alone, knowing that there's some winners in there. He can just buy Colt, and Colt has the tokenomics to hold his value up, as well as the projects that it's investing in has the opportunity to make him a lot of money. So I really like the way that this is all laid out, though, this Medium article, how he's basically telling people, look, just with the Colt we're sending out, the Colt that's burning, I mean, that's even as somebody that has a good bit of Colt, I really hope Colt flips Bitcoin, but that's like a big task, only because you got to think, where's Bitcoin going to be in 5 years? Even if it's only 10x from what it's at, that would mean Colt is worth quite a bit of money.
Yeah, and that's the with the goal of decentralization. There's going to be, in my opinion, there's going to be some big winners. And so what I'm counting on is Colt being able to pick the big winners of the decentralization, just from I like the theory of throwing shit on a wall, seeing what sticks. Ethereum,
absolutely.
And this allows individuals to have exposure to that with if you work, you can't do crypto and work. Like, you can't really do crypto and work. And so, having a like you said, almost an ETF, like a hedge in the decentralization space. Like if the Bitcoin, maxis to me should kind of enjoy things like this, because it's furthering decentralization. Of course, if it hurts their bag, they're not about it. But as far as for those that are true to the crypto thesis, this has almost all of the necessary components to make a worthwhile and long-standing coin, and to have a place where decentralization can thrive.
Yeah, well, that's the other thing, is that we're already kind of seeing it, but as Colt grows, you're going to have professionals from all types of fields invested in this thing. And you get basically a free advice or consultation from somebody who probably makes good money doing what they do. And eventually, yeah, as a community, it will be a lot like an ETF, because, of course, an ETF, they just hire experts and have the experts tell them this is how the market's going, et cetera, et cetera. But with us, we're going to have those people actually personally invested in the project. So I think that that is a good point, and it's going to yield a lot. It's going to be a very powerful investment vehicle, and there's probably going to be people that don't even own Colt DAO for their own purposes that are watching what Colt DAO is buying. Very soon. I've already talked to a founder of a cryptocurrency, and he was essentially trying to get his cryptocurrency to be a proposal on Colt DAO, and I told him, our mission is kind of to dump on your head. So I'm wondering, why is it so important for you to get your token? A proposal that's an interesting way to try to get some of your earliest liquidity. He was trying to get Colt DAO to make one of the first purchases of his token, and he basically explained that getting us to buy his token is the biggest thing he could do for credit. Even though we're going to take a big profit margin whenever the coin goes public and starts trading, we're not going to hold it for a long time. We're not forever holds. We're a purchase that intends to sell at profit. But even with that loss for his project, he was still willing to do that, because he felt like Colt DAO was the biggest thing that he could do to bring his project more legitimacy.
Yeah, that was like one of the first articles I read. I think before you were in the room, saying like I think then one of the next narratives is going to be what wins the next cult, and I remember. But before I get off on that, I want to mention The Economist does exactly what we have been looking for. I've been in some spaces with them a little bit and learning about how the project works, and and as far as how to properly exit, so as to not dump the prices, as that's kind of liquidity is the game, and that's what continues to support Hex. Not only aside from the tokenomics, the T-share rate is what is the magic cog in that particular wheel to keep the inflation in check. And so Colt takes the same deflationary tokenomics was not a narrative until really Colt, I think, has cemented it. But the meme coin space has really given a lot of experiments their course, and so finding out the things that excite people, as well as continue to reward those people who come in new to the project, because that prevents people that come into the crypto space today and have extreme financial literacy from investing in certain things and a high risk tolerance, that they, things that are already well established are relatively difficult to make 10x's or 100x's in, whereas newer projects can, still make, still make those things relatively simply.
Yeah, right.
5 more minutes, and then we'll call it a day, and we will definitely make a new mask in the morning to improve on the situation dramatically. But yeah, so with 5 minutes left,
We could do the votes real quick. I had them pulled up.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah. Well, I have to figure out how to screen share. That's fine. I know how to screen share. Let's see here. I'm going.
And so I hope to be stationary more time tomorrow, and so be able to do some stream. And Merp, he was feeling kind of sick anyways. I think him and his family caught a bug, and he's the one that's going to edit the videos into more digestible formats. And as far as the live streams, and until we get process down, I think tomorrow morning we'll have the price feeds of the Rainbow Report done more accurately. Here with the news stories, just kind of going through some cult stories today, and then we will continue to report new news stories as we have more time in the day. But so while he hopefully comes back, go ahead and continue reading this article. Boom, boom, boom.
All right, can you hear me again? Sorry, I somehow dropped myself off trying to add my screen. Uh-oh. Can you hear me?
All right. Okay. And this article was written in April, so there was a lot of still confusion, and people are very impatient in the crypto space. Welcome back, Huddle Stongs.
Yep, can you hear me now?
Go for it.
All right, I was just making sure you could hear me because I somehow kicked myself off when I went to add. So I'll just do the voting on tomorrow's stream.
Okay. All right. Well, yeah, that way we can do a fresh start. You'll be able to hear you better as well.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not bad, but we can watch this stream a little bit and see what things are intolerable. Yeah.
Right.
But I found like new ways here to do this little setup. Still need some elevation changes, in order to have this microphone in my face so much. But so yeah. So we're gonna be able to do all sorts of cool things. Is the sound still good from back here?
Yeah. Oh yeah, it still sounds. I mean, it sounds like you're farther away, but it sounds good. Yeah.
Okay, so not terrible or anything.
No.
Cool. Yeah. So like, because I can sit here while I'm doing the masks and everything, I can go ahead and live stream. Then I need to go back to the lake and get some restock on the masks. I have 5 or 6 days supply, but once we start carving them out, I think there will be a lot more masks to be had.
Okay, good.
Cool. And so, yeah. Well, I just want to say, let's go Colt. Viva la Revolution. We have about a minute left today. And yes, I just want to say that I'm grateful for having all this technology here and making it where, even though it's confusing, we have lights, we have camera, we have action. And as we embark on this journey, hopefully this hot and sweaty room will turn out to be something that grows our reach into the world, and grows our ability to collaborate and do the things that keep us going every day.
Absolutely. So, I couldn't agree with you more.
All right. So we're way behind on research, but we'll be getting it, and I think each day is going to continue to get better and better. That's really the only measure of success for me. And as long as that's one measure of success, that it gets better. But the most weighted importance is that we have fun. So as long as we continue to find ways to have it fun, take away any misery, then I feel like we're doing the best thing. So,
absolutely.
All right. So Is there anything else to say? We'll call it a day.
All right, that's it. We are down. Let's get it.
All right. Hexicans have more hex, and if you spell it out, it looks like sex.